I don't know if you've heard this, but Japan is for the Japanese. Yahoo! If you're new here, my name is Pat, the ugly expat in Japan, and welcome to day 4 of the Vlogmas 2025 series. As an expat here in Japan, somehow I feel confused on how I should react if I see or if I hear someone say Japan is for the Japanese, because for one, it's actually true. This is their country, and as a guest, as a visitor, as a legal alien here, I am tasked to follow all the rules that Japan has. And so far, I would say I'm doing good at following the rules here. I've never done a crime and I don't ever intend to do such thing. But what confuses me is somehow people are, especially the local, the natives here, a lot of them are already exhausted in dealing with tourists, especially the pesky ones. So there have been a lot of content creators who were very disruptive in public places, played music inside the train, made a lot of noise in temple grounds, made the image of foreigners really bad. So a lot of locals right now are just too tired in dealing with these stuff. But for someone who came here to work, earn money, save up a little bit, it's just depressing because somehow I feel like I'm being attacked because it's like some people saying, go away, like go home, return to where you came from. But I find refuge in one content creator. She's half Japanese, half German. Her name is Sachiko Ishikawa. I stumbled upon her video on TikTok, and she was very vocal and very courageous in her stance against the government's plan of increasing the visa renewal fees. Because if I remember it correctly, when I lived in Osaka like 5 years ago, I was a student there. I found a job and I've changed my residence card a couple of times to continue working and living there. And every time I renewed my visa, I always paid 4,000 yen. For the first renewal, I paid 4,000 and I was given a year of extension under a working visa. Then after that visa expired, I renewed. I paid another 4,000 but still was given a 1-year visa. And then on my third renewal under the same company, I was already given 3 years and still paid 4,000 yen. So all in all, at that time, I've paid 12,000 yen. And then when I already had a 3-year visa, I was so happy that I don't have to renew on a yearly basis. But COVID hit, number of student enrollees decreased, and it affected our salary greatly. So I decided to find a more stable job as an assistant language teacher at a public school. And because it was a different, line of work, I had to renew again my visa and get a different category of a working visa. I had to pay another 4,000 yen, canceled out my 3-year validity under the humanities visa. I paid around 16,000 yen, but it didn't really impact me financially that much during that time because for a year I can save up for that one. But now that the government has decided to increase the visa renewal fees for foreigners who want to continue staying here in Japan, it was from 4,000, but I heard this year sometime in April the government decided to increase it to 6,000. And now they just don't want to stop there. They would like to increase it even more. And I think the jump is just too, exponential. Because from 6,000, they are planning to bump it up to 30 or 40,000. But there was also some news saying that it can potentially reach 100,000 yen. So for me, I find it quite financially stressful because that's a lot of money and I could use it for other things. In fact, what stresses me out the most is that I am trying to save up for something because by July or August next year, I am expecting to spend on something that's really a lot. I would be spending on something this summer and it's gonna cost me a lot of money. So I'm trying to save up for that, but my visa is about to expire, so that means I have to save up for that as well. So I just hope that my employer now would already tell me if they're planning to recontract me for another year and would help me as soon as possible with my visa renewal, because chances are I might not be required to pay the increase. I would still be paying the 6,000, which is the current visa fee if everything works well. But you know, the world is not a wish granting factory. Wow. I read it from a book. So it's quite stressful, and it makes me anxious to think of this government initiative. And Sachiko Ishikawa, the content creator that I watched on TikTok, she was very vocal that this might be a bad thing for foreigners who are earning lower salaries, because that's a hefty amount, 30 to 40,000, 100,000. Some of us here just don't earn that high. The government planned to increase it because they want to make Japan's visa fees at par with other developed countries in Europe, North America. But the salary here is not as, not at par with those countries. So somehow that's where the problem arises, and it's stressing me out. Some of the foreigners who commented on the issue said that it's just a show of how xenophobic Japanese people are. It's just it's their subtle way of showing that they don't want foreigners anymore in Japan. They would like the foreigners, they would want us to like return to where we came from. So somehow that adds to my anxieties or my worries, because I can't imagine being forced to go back home, just like what is happening in some countries. Some people who are suspected of being illegal settlers, despite having legal documents, they are forced to, go back to their countries, or they're detained somewhere. So I don't know if that's possible also in Japan, but the way that the government is shifting these days here in Japan, it's somehow very scary for us foreigners. But some of us actually say that I don't really have to worry that much, because if I don't do something illegal, if I just, pay all the mandated contributions, I'll be fine. And somehow I stumbled upon another content creator. He's from America, I guess. I'm not very sure, but I'll show a screenshot of him here somewhere in this video. He actually said his idea was that he doesn't really mind paying the increased visa fee because it's just logical for us guests or visitors or non-natives here in Japan to pay such premium, such amount, because we're staying in one of the safest countries in the world. So he somehow, the analogy was like, it's like paying for a pro version of an application where we have to pay extra in order to use the pro benefits. He somehow made an analogy using that one in his content, which made sense to me a little bit, because as what I always tell myself when I see my payslip with all the deductions, taxes, the pension payments, health insurances, they're really high, but I get to see where those contributions are going. Unlike in my country, there are some, deductions from our salary, and there have been numerous complaints as to how the Philippine government has mismanaged the funds, and some of the government projects are very substandard. And for people who would, comment on this video saying that I'm very unpatriotic, that I'm putting the Philippines in bad light, I would like to disagree. I'm not putting the Philippines in bad light. I don't have to do those because it's already very evident in the Philippines that it's not getting the brightest spot these days because of all the anomalies, the scandals involving government officials. So before you come at me, please reflect on that one. But going back to, this issue in Japan about the foreign residents, the possible increase of visa renewal fees. What do you think? If you were an expat here, would you be willing to pay the increased amount, whether it be 30, 40, or 100,000 yen? Or would you rather pack your bags, leave Japan, go somewhere else? Let me know in the comments, and thank you for staying until the end of this video. I'll see you tomorrow for our 5th day of this Vlogmas 2025 series. Mata ne!